we're getting close to New Year's, and I know all of you have really good intentions of having a New Year's resolution. Some people, you know, they get pissy about New Year's resolutions. They're like, I don't think you should even have a New Year's resolution because I know you're not going to follow it anyway. I think resolutions and I think challenges, I think, are fantastic. Something else that I think is fantastic and something else that I think is great is motivation. People say motivation is fleeting, and motivation, you know, it leaves you, you know, a few hours or a few days after you hear something. Well, that's why I recommend you get a daily dose of motivation. Motivation is, to me, it's like taking a shower. You need some of it every single day, right? When it comes to a New Year's resolution, the number one way to make sure that a goal will happen or that a resolution will happen is to make sure it's something that you can actually do. You know, saying, all right, Jan 1, dude, like I'm going hard. I'm gonna bench press twice a week. I'm gonna, you know, before the end of the year, I'm gonna bench 315. I'm gonna weigh 185. I'm gonna have abs. I'm gonna have a stronger squat. I'm gonna be such a badass. I'm gonna read 3 books a week. I'm gonna do yoga and I'm gonna do jujitsu, and I'm just gonna fuck everybody up. And I'm gonna improve I'm gonna make advances in my job. And look, man, it's too much, right? It's too much. Peel it all back a little bit. How about we pick one thing, and how about we have a priority with that one thing? I mean, look, we could all sit there and think of 87 different things we want to be good at. But if we tried to improve on that many different things, we wouldn't have time to fulfill any of those prophecies, right? It would be too hard to manage. Just not enough hours in a day, right? So let's start off with something that's way more simple. January 1 rolls around. You're not signing up for the gym. You're not going to go no carb. You're not going to stop drinking for the whole year. Let's just take the barriers and bring them all down. Okay? Let's just try to find something simple to do. And how about even before January 1? Because we know that building in a routine, we know that the only way to build consistency is through the practice of being inconsistent and through having the headache of being inconsistent. Like how annoying is it to be inconsistent and to know it, right? So before Jan 1 ever rolls around, start as soon as you hear this video and start trying to just pick off kind of one thing at a time. Think about, I'm going to go on one 10-minute walk every day. If it doesn't happen every day, don't get frustrated, because the only way to practice, the only way to be consistent is to practice inconsistency. Okay, shit, I missed a day. That's okay, you get back on track. Maybe do a challenge. Maybe start the new year off with a 30-day challenge and say, I want to see if I can commit to a 10-minute walk. Now, you might live in freaking New York City or something, so it might be hard to do a 10-minute walk every day because it might be freezing outside, right? It has to be something that you can actually do. Going to the gym, right? That's always a big one. Well, if you're going to go to the gym, then a good way to make sure that happens is put yourself on the hook with somebody else. Grab a friend, grab a relative, grab somebody you know that likes training as well or that needs training as well, and say, look, man, you know I've been talking about it the last 3 years and I have never committed to it, but especially if it's a friend of yours that's already into fitness, that would really help. And go to them and tell them, flat out tell them, say, man, I need your help. I want to turn over a new leaf. And if this is an actual good friend, you're like, sure, man. But now your ass better be there. You better get your butt to the gym when you say that you're going to get your butt to the gym. That's a great way to kind of put yourself out there and put yourself on the hook for something. But the main thing is to try to make this stuff easy. I want people to make their goals so easy that it's a joke. I want people to embrace stuff that just sounds so ridiculously easy that it's like, give me a break. I can do that. Shit, that's easy. That's the kind of stuff that you should be looking to do. How about something like this? How about rather than saying you're going no carbs January 1, how about you just say, I'm going to reduce the amount of sugar that I eat in January. Come February, I'm going to pay more attention to my carbs and see if I can start to lower my overall carb intake, and I'm going to, bring it down to, I don't know, 150 or 200 a day. Like little small steps, things that you feel like could be easy to do. How about this one? How about I'm going to not eat carbs for a meal? What if you did that? What if you did that every day and said, I'm not eating carbs at breakfast every day? Or the only thing I'm going to eat in the morning is, you're going to have a small breakfast, right? Like, what about just these kind of small victories, things that you know, and I don't know you the way you know yourself. You know yourself really well. Pick things that you feel like are going to be very simple for you to do. Don't use the word never. Don't use the word can't. Be very careful with these things. I'm not ever eating pizza again, or I'm gonna next year no booze. You're gonna have to figure out a way to simplify it and to bring it all down. Another thing that would be important is to write stuff down. Write it down in a journal, repeat it to yourself, share it out with other people. Maybe even record yourself talking about it. Because once you play it back in your head and once you say it to somebody else, you might go, oh shit, that didn't sound like a good idea. Like, that was too much. You're gonna have to find a way to make it simple enough to where it's something that you can actually put into action, something you can actually put into play. One of my things that has helped me over the last few years, when the summer comes and when Christmas comes, I always kind of think about, I don't want to look the same when we take pictures at the holidays, Somebody usually pops around the holidays and snaps some pictures. I don't want to look the same. I don't want to be the same. Like, I want to be different. I want to be different than I was last year. I want to look better than I did last year. Every summer, when it comes time to take some of your clothes off, right, and go to the beach, every year you have that conversation with yourself about how you're not going to do that again. And every year you probably have that same conversation with yourself about Christmas when you see a family photo. You're like, oh man, I'm not going to do that next year. When January comes around, I'm going to fix everything back up again. And you're just not. You're just probably not doing it, and you're probably not getting around to it. And it's because you set the expectations way too high. Bring them down a little bit lower and think about how you're going to do it. You want to always work your way backwards with your goals. You write the goal down. What's it going to take for me to weigh 225 pounds when you weigh 325 pounds? Well, shit, man, like that, holy crap, that might not happen in a year, but let's start at 225. The only way to weigh 225 is to identify as being someone that eats that amount of food to stay 225 pounds and not weigh 325 pounds. So you'd have to eat so much less, but you'd have to do it every single day for the entire year. That's too crazy. That's too wild. Last thing I'm going to finish with here. You can't be given anything. I can't just give you something. And if I did, you'd go back to being the same person you are right now, eventually. So if you're heavy and you're watching this, and I can wave a magic wand and go kabam, and make you have a six-pack, you wouldn't be ripped. You want to know why? because it would only last for however long you allowed it to last for. Because you didn't go on the journey. You didn't learn what not to eat. You didn't learn what to eat. You didn't learn how to eat. I did the work for you by waving the magic wand. They say the same thing about being a millionaire. If I gave you $1 million right now, you wouldn't have it. If I gave you $1 million right now, you would have it only for a short period of time. So these are things that can't be given to you. And when you set out to have a New Year's resolution, or you set out to have a new goal, think about how proud you're going to make yourself as you inch your way towards that. And don't think about necessarily the goal, and don't think about the end result, but think more about what you're going to become in your pursuit of what that goal is. Because you're going to become a person that is made out of something different than you were in the past if you took yourself from weighing 325 to 225, or if you took yourself from making 50 grand a year to making 200 grand a year. It's the journey that you're in, it's the position that you're in, and it's all the stuff that you learn going through all that that's going to make you feel proud, going to make you be prideful, that's going to make you happy in the first place. Because once you get to your goal and once you get to your New Year's resolution, you won't necessarily be any happier than you are right now. Except for knowing how proud you made yourself throughout the entire process. Strength is never weakness, weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later.